There, it's Mr. John again from Kittle's Fine Art and Supply, and we're going to be drawing a cartoon eagle today. I was inspired by this over at one of our lakes. We had an eagle in a tree and just thought, hey, let's draw a cartoon eagle. So let's get started here. Oh, sorry about that, camera. All right, so we're going to start again pretty much with going back to our general shapes here and just roughly drawing some stuff in. And we're just gonna, again, everything that we draw, we can start with basic shapes. And that's why I'm starting that way with this drawing for you, is to show you we can just kind of lightly draw in our construction lines and then we'll darken them up later as we get into the drawing. So I'm going to put the tail in a little bit, just it's a little bit thin. We're going to widen that up in a minute. But notice how I'm just kind of drawing lines in to get the right angle of the tail feathers. And let's go back up here and go ahead and straighten that line out, get that drawn in. And as I work around the drawing, I don't usually focus on one area specifically right away. I work around, I look at things. Like right now I'm going to be putting some kind of ovals in. We're going to, for the eyes. And I'm going to put his beak in here. And I'm just being careful, you know, we're going to have to erase certain lines as we work. We always do. But we just kind of play with it. Not everything can be, just a super simple shape. Notice how the beak has that kind of complex curve there. As I work, I'm putting the tongue in, and I just try to figure out exactly where these lines should be, and I want them to be kind of smiling. So eagles always look so stern, but we're going to give him a little smile. We'll still make his eyes look a little stern. I'm going to draw that line in. That's the line that I want, so I'm drawing it in heavy. And I'm going to put a little more cheek in. Come back up and darken in his beak, darken in the line that I want. And we can get rid of some of the construction lines, some of the lines that we don't need anymore. There we go. And it doesn't, notice I'm using, on the bear I used a mechanical pencil, but on this one we're just going to use a number 2 pencil. So we got to get his wings in, get everything kind of lined up, give a nice shoulder. The iconic head, we got to put his ruffle feathers there, the feathers for his white bald head there, bald eagle. And take a few of those little construction lines out. Really, you can do these all at the end if you want, or like I'm doing right now, I'm kind of changing things and doing things. And so again, I work around the drawing, all kind of over the drawing. I'm not going to necessarily... Now remember I said the eagles kind of look stern. We're going to give them some stern looking eyebrow or eyelids, I should say. I'm just going to darken in one pupil and then let's draw the other one. Darken that in since we know that's what we want. Whenever you feel like you've got a line that you want and you want to keep it, and you go ahead and darken those in. I've switched to the mechanical pencil just because I have a nice thin line or a thin lead, and then I can notice I'm going to start shading in, and I'm going to shade in a little bit under his beak into his mouth, so his tongue's not completely shaded in. Darken in some of these lines as I go. I'm going to put a little nostril in here. Alright, so yep, we're going to darken these lines in like we normally do. And sometimes you can use I also like using Pigma drawing pins to do ink work. So all these lines that I'm darkening in, I could be doing that with a Pigma mark or a Pigma pen. I'm gonna put a little bit of a feathery edge on his wing there. And he can't just be like hovering in the air, so we're gonna put a branch. And I saw the eagle at the lake. He was sitting on a big dead tree, so we're gonna kind of draw a branch here, dead branch, give him a little place to perch on. And the branch is gonna have a little branch off there and connect it to the kind of the tree that it's connected to. Draw a few branches. Broken little limbs, since it's a dead tree. Get the eraser back over here and gonna erase these construction lines around his tail. Get rid of those lines that go through the branch. Clean him up. Now you don't, again, you can ink these in, you can do all this after you have all your light lines in. You can come back and ink the solid lines that you want to use. We're going to put his little talons in here. So we're going to start with a series of ovals, and don't forget about the one, I call it the thumb. It's the one underneath the branch. And those ovals will erase them a little bit. Sometimes I put the heavier lines in before I erase. Sometimes I erase things out that I don't need, and then I'll go back in and detail those harder lines in there, darker lines. And don't forget about once we get these in here, we're gonna have to put some sort of claw in. All right, so we're getting back in there. We're gonna detail the claw. We're gonna give him his talons. Just put those little sharp little nails on there. Darken them in. Sorry about that little glitch. All right, get back in there, kind of pull that little limb right through his toes there. Shadow a little bit. We're going to start shadowing our piece. Putting a little bit of shadow in there so we can get a little highlight on the top of the limb. And let's draw just the side of the tree right here. All right. Okay. So since an eagle's body is pretty dark, nice brown wings and chest, and we're going to leave the white head and we'll leave the white tail, but we got to make sure that we get some shading in here. So, and I think, let's pull the body down just a little bit, put the shading in there. Make sure that you see a little bit of difference between the claw or the talon and the branch as well. And let's widen his little tail out here and put a little detail into the feathers. Run some little indication lines that there's multiple feathers there. And then we'll just kind of shade in some of his darker feathers on his body here. And you're going to see me do, what I'm doing is almost like little ovals as I put these in, and they give it a little feathery, almost feathery texture, but we'll smooth most of this out as we go. We're just going to kind of put these in, kind of lines of feathers, really keep inside the lines there, and then going to give them a little bit more shading across those little ovals that we did, kind of blending them in, because we don't want them to be too different, but we want to make sure that and remember, his beak's not white like his head. It's going to be a little bit shaded in, so we're going to shade some in right now, just a little bit, just to bring it just down. Their beaks are bright yellow, so they're not as dark as the body. We can put some shadow in right below his beak there onto his white feathers. Just darken this a little bit more. Let's come back and clean up any of our construction lines that we have. And we're just about done. Put a little bit more detail down here. And you can detail more of the tree if you wish, but I'm just going to leave it alone, and that's going to be it for today. So we've got our friend the happy little eagle, and we're going to just have it be the end of our thing. So you can always again, show me your drawings, upload them to kittlesartsupply@gmail.com, and you can always go on our facebook.com/kittlesfinearts, and we'll see you later, and happy drawing, and always have fun, and always find the art in you.